little life update vlog, work and life. I think I had my 4th shift. No, I had my 5th shift yesterday, I think. A new workmate came in and joined the team. So I guess a bunch of people were hired with me, and then maybe I was the first to come in. And now, like, she's come in, she's called
Vietnam.
and she's Polish. She's on our team doing stocking up sort of duties. And then a couple more people I think I saw on a list were possibly coming in who are new. Don't know if that's right or not. I saw some names I didn't recognize on a little timetable with my name. I was like, oh, so that's interesting. The business is all right for the moment. The music thing is annoying. Since
Vietnam.
came in, they're not playing the music so much. I don't know if they're gonna start playing it again when she's in. I don't get the whole female privilege thing. Like, I'm telling them like the music is bad. Like, I don't like listening to music while I work, and they're like, excuse, we'll keep playing the music but slightly lower volume. And then as soon as like a girl joins the team, suddenly there's no music, no one says anything, there's just no one playing any music at night. It's like, well, that's what I wanted, and you're doing it with her without her even asking. It's like, that's weird, like feminist, sexist treatment of men differently from women. Don't like that at all. Anyway, the workplace itself, apart from the music issue, which is the first bad thing, I guess another bad thing might be that
Vietnam
is starting to seem like a control freak, a bit of an authoritarian, a bit over commanding. He's like, oh, I've got a sense of humor. I love to tell jokes to keep me going. I haven't heard a single joke out of him or any kind of humor so far. He's like not a slave driver, but a something driver, a staff driver. He like, yeah, he looks like he's having a bad time of it each night, and he's very keen on telling other people what to do and telling people what they shouldn't do as much as possible. He's one of those sorts of people. So that's a little bit annoying, and that could grow into something. Also, it's often hard to understand. It's weird. He speaks English. You'd think he speaks clearly, but he doesn't know how to express himself. I had this problem with people in the last business though. They didn't know how to explain themselves, particularly Karen, but other ones too. And sometimes they wouldn't speak clear English. They'd talk super fast, or they'd blur all their words together, or they'd fumble over things, or you'd ask them a question hoping for an answer that was clear and explained what you had to do, and they just couldn't explain themselves. They couldn't find the words, and they were impatient and rushing around all the time in that business, so they could never slow down, think about how to explain something to you and then explain it to you. That was the problem with the last business. This problem, I don't know, they're just being too brief and not understanding what that explanation sounds like from the person hearing it. And I understand it from the Indian guy because he can't fully speak English yet, but I don't understand it from the English
Vietnam
dude because he can speak English. I think it's just like a little bit of getting triggered within him. He's like triggered by normal things slightly. You get loads of people like this. And he thinks you should understand something really easily, or understand without being told, or understand when he tells you in a really bad way, like a terrible teacher. Just doesn't know how to explain things in a way, like doesn't understand how he's saying comes across to another person hearing it. That kind of empathy type thing. Apart from that, those were two things, by the way. The business is good so far. We're not really being told how to do anything except stocking up at the moment. We're meant to have till training. At some point I was meant to do forklift training. I guess that would be for like a morning shift though, or something, it seems like. Not sure if... I haven't even been shown where all these things in the warehouse are. I've seen the warehouse like twice, and I don't know what you go there for other than to grab a cage full of food to stock up with. I don't know how the delivery comes in. I don't know where the delivery comes in. I don't know what all these... There's meant to be like a box crushing machine. I don't know where that is. There's meant to be like electrical pallet trolley things. I have no idea where those are. You need training for the forklift and the electrical version of the pallet trailer thing you drag around, but not the non-electrical kind that you drag around. And I haven't seen any of these things. I don't know what. I think I saw a picture of one of them. That's it. I like the job so far because it's spacious. There's lots of room to move around, lots of room to stretch, lots of room to easily stock the shelves. It's a lot harder to like be stuck in a tight, cramped space trying to make the stuff on a shelf work. You've just got all this space. What you have less of, I guess, is like tables and stuff to put things on. You could wheel a stool over to where you are, but it's like a footstool, so it's too low. You ideally need like a wheelie table wider than a footstool that's like stomach height to go around with you, so you got stuff to, it's just this, I don't know what size, what dimensions, sort of that dimensions, that width and that length and stomach height on wheels, something like that. The job's basically like a supermarket, I guess, because we're in the food department. I thought I'd be able to do all the homeware stuff, but they put me in the food bit for some reason. I heard one guy is tied to the health and beauty section, which is weird. It's sort of on the edge of the food section, but in the middle between that and the homeware. Maybe there are other workers I haven't seen who are tied to the homeware department or the garden centre departments. Yeah, it's nice and spacious, nice and easy to move. The music and the announcer thing. The music they put on, the announcer they put on isn't like an obnoxious kind. It's not very loud for a start, which is great. So I don't know how it's driving the other guys nuts because you can hardly hear it. And it's mostly mellow tunes, which is good. And it's not like a 20-list playlist of bad pop music with terrible lyrics, very questionable lyrics, which is like my last business. That's what it was. Outside the job, let's go back inside the job again. People don't communicate. You don't really, I haven't learned hardly anything about people, just the odd things here and there. They don't really chat to you very much. And they're not playful or comedic, and they don't have like an offensive sense of humour. But also I haven't really detected any leftism yet, or conservatism. Like, I haven't detected politics. So it's like normies, but while they're in work, they're not talking politics at the moment. That might change. But they're not communicating very well, except like
Vietnam.
Came in and she was like asking things, because she was new. She was like probably of the same mindset I was, like, why aren't people talking? Why aren't people having a chat with each other and finding out about each other? So we found out about each other because like the other people weren't, sort of thing. I got a little bit of a feel of like this simping for the new girl. I mean, she's an slightly older woman, and she's taken, but you still, in my last business, this idiot called Mike, who, even though he was taken because he was dating one of the co-workers, he would just like hit on and simp for and like pretend to be the guardian of and drag you away from talking to every woman who came in. Like every woman, even like young underage girls and stuff, he would like try and make them his business. It's really weird. You'd be serving for ages on the till, and they'd be like, Tom, go to the till, there's someone there. Tom, go to the till, there's someone there. Except when there was a hot girl at the till, in which case either the girls would rush in, or Mike would rush into the till to take it before you could get there to serve, even if you were on your way to the till to serve them. He'd like take it and he'd like start talking to them and flirting with them and stuff. So there was something very wrong with that. Yeah, back to inside new business. Hi, Robin. Robin. Inside the new business, there was a communication issue. Outside the new business, I have to drive home at night. It's so weird how, okay, you've got all this country driving I'm very familiar with here, which is part one of the journey. Part two of the journey is a very long dual carriageway drive, past tons of junctions before you get to your one. And then part three of the journey is like a tiny part, but it's the worst part. It's really busy between coming off the dual carriageway into the edge of the city to this other bit that's also in the edge of the city, kind of a short distance away. There's so much traffic, but the main problem is there's just so much road markings and street signs and different kind of road regulations and stuff. As soon as you get into the city, it's like, yeah, welcome to intense, insane government control, as well as massive crowds. Like, we've crammed all these people in here. We've made the roads too convoluted when they don't need to be. Seriously, I could just redesign the roads. I'll take away all road markings, take away all signs, and just make the road a sort of straight line from there to the bridge with some T-junction turn-offs on either side. And it would just make the whole thing so much better. Like, they think they're being more efficient with all these lanes and turns and lights and road markings and grids and CCTV cameras telling people what to do everywhere, but they're not. It's just this strange... Because all of the driving from here to the dual carriageway bit to this turn-off on the edge of the city is absolutely fine. All the road markings are fine. You can get on with them. It makes perfect sense. And then as soon as you get into the city, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, there's no need for all this stuff here. Like, all the roads completely change to hyper complicated without any real purpose. Like, you could just take away all that complication and it would be as efficient as all the country roads that came before it. Fucking stupid. And so it's quite dangerous at night. You're trying to check lanes, you're trying to see if random people are crossing the road, you're trying to see if a light will change red before you get to it. You've got to check lanes because it splits into three, two come off it goes into two again, those two merge, then they unmerge, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? And I learnt something new about the road just yesterday. Like, I've been driving the road like a few times now. I've driven the road like maybe 7 times in total so far. And it's this busy bit in the city. You come up to some traffic lights with a grid after it. And I've only recently learnt, like, you know, wait for the grid to clear before going past the traffic lights so you can land on the other side of the grid where there's a gap. The problem with that is I just don't want anyone behind me to start beeping me and get infuriated while I wait for the grid to be free. But I learnt yesterday that isn't just like a grid with traffic lights that block traffic from coming into the grid when you're going through. It's like one of these weird crossroads where actually a vehicle was trying to get into the grid from the side and cross over my path while the lights were green. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually some weird crossroads thing like I've seen on all my driving videos but I never encountered before, where people can randomly cross your path even if it's green and go for all your traffic. So we got 2 lanes going straight forward. And I thought up till yesterday that the traffic lights were just stopping anything coming like that way, but they weren't. I've just learned that traffic can come that way. Like yesterday, I'm like, fuck. Now I have to think of now there's something else I have to do as soon as I reach that grid, which is not only wait for the grid to be free, but also look off to the right and left and check there's no car like coming in at the side. Whew. That's intense and horrible. Okay, that was the business stuff. That's about it for now, I think. I need to whisk myself off north to have a walk and also go to the toilet in the service station and try not to eat anything. I keep getting takeaways, and takeaways are really expensive and unhealthy, but I like hot food. I noticed I was at a petrol station yesterday before my shift, and before my shift is when most shops close except petrol stations. So I went to the petrol station looking for hot food, and they have no hot food on the racks, and I'm like, oh yeah, remembering to my last business, certain time of night, you're probably not going to have much hot food, and what you do have will be reduced. And they had like none. So I thought, oh, I'll get fast food then. I'll go to near where I work and get fast food. I was like, it always costs over £10, and so it's expensive as fuck. Taking a chunk unnecessarily out of my food budget, but it's always like they're distracting me. Like, I need this. You know, if I just get a bit of meat in me, some hot meat, and I'm not going to have a chance to be near an oven until I'm back home. And the other side of my shift before it begins, I don't have a chance to mess with the oven because of domestic abuse situation. Again, why I need a fucking flat. Oh yeah, one more thing is I need to work out my hours. I wrote in a sketch pad that I'm doing like 16 hours minimum, 24 hours maximum, and that's still not enough to be what the estate agents calls full-time job, which is what I need to aim for, just to get into that set of hours that is called full-time job, which I think is 35 hours. Tell that to the estate agent, flat hunt, with that knowledge while that's going on, so they know I'm doing this full time while that's going on. Eventually get given the flat, get into the flat, start paying, and then reduce my hours at work down again to not full time, but something manageable that helps me pay my bills, but isn't that much. Because too much work eating my week doesn't give me a human life, you know. If I have one day off from work per week, that's not good. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, catch you all later, folks. Bye.